I don't know about you, but I used to find myself reaching for those like boom, modern explosion type sounds, either as like layers or references, because I think they sound great and they're good examples of like what modern explosions sound like and what audiences expect them to sound like, which is like punchy, tight, distorted, boomy, and pretty hyped up. But at a certain point, I was like, I should probably learn how to make that so I can do my own thing and take it in my own direction. So this is going to be showing you how I did that. For our raw source this time, we're going to be listening to a Firework recording from Valentin, whose last name begins with a C, and I won't attempt to pronounce because I'm not French. Sounds like this. It's really an excellent Firework recording. It's everything you could want. It is dry. There's no like background noise, and it perfectly captures what a firework naturally sounds like, which is like for most people the closest they're going to get to like an actual explosion. But you might have noticed that's not what an explosion like feels like, you know. So we're gonna doctor it up a little bit to get there. Starting off, we have like our transient layers here. Sounds like this unedited. Sorry, unprocessed. That is very edited. It's just like two little transient portions. The first one is at regular playback rate. Second one is at 0.6. They're going through the same bus processing, but for this first layer, I have a little bit of Pro Q to filter out the high end. And then some transient shaping. It's the same across all the bands, just to bring up the attack by quite a bit and bring down the sustain, because I only want the punch. And then the second one, isolated, sounds like this. With the bus processing, we have root 1 to add some low-end resonance, followed by Pro Q to clean up some of the mid-range, and then a different flavor of transient shaping to add some more snap. And finally, mystery plugin, what could it be? It's Decapitator, set to E mode, of course. A little bit of drive. It's getting driven hard enough by this, which is like plus a lot, I don't know. And then tone turned down a little bit, and tiny bit of low cut, tiny bit of high cut. But this one is also going through that same processing. So together it's like this. The first transient, which is like the first part of the sound that you hear, is a little bit muted. This is to create like an energy curve across the duration of the sound, where it like has a quick buildup, a sharp peak going from low to high frequency, full frequency, I should say. And then as it decays, gradually getting filtered out to be only the low end again. It creates a nice little like micro story within the sound. Anyways, I'm rambling. This layer, I call it the blast layer. This is like more sustain. That's the raw recordings, just pitched down 0.76, 716 actually. For the processing here, we got some like bass boosting going on. Tiny bit of mid-range cut as well. You know, that becomes a trend. Different kind of like low-end enhancement without these modules. And with them. Below like 170, basically, it's just doing like, I think it's like R bass inspired, sort of resonance, I guess. And then with M transient MB below 135, I'm just enhancing the sustain to get more juice out of it for a longer duration. And bring up the attack a little bit too. Then I'm crushing it quite a bit with this Pro C. It also enhances the transient a little bit because it's got a very slow attack, right? So you can see it, like, I forget how to pause it, but it lets the attack through and then it clamps down on it. And like the cumulative effect of that is that it almost acts as like a transient enhancer. Anyways, this is like my trick for reducing sustained low end. This is keyed from 500 to 5K. Sorry. Wow. Yeah, 534, 534. I didn't even like set those frequencies. That was just like me randomly dragging it. Wow, that's crazy. Anyways, I was doing expansion on the low end, so it doesn't sustain too much. And then I think I just forgot about this. Yeah, this is doing nothing. There's nothing going on above 30 kilohertz anyways. Brilliant move on my part. And then -7 steps with the pitch shifter. Makes it feel like a little beefier, a little larger, you know. And then some recenter. I think the transients were like a little bit imbalanced here. You can see it's more in the left channel there than the right channel. So this just like takes it in multiband mode and puts it right up the center. More or less, which is where we want it. Next layer, they call this the body. I think it's more that same thing, but this is focused more on like the short-term blastiness of it. It's not called blast, but you know, you get the picture. This one's got a little bit more design and flavor going on. So first I bass boosted it by like a lot. This is cumulative effect of +9 and then +25. Normal gain scaling would be crazy off the charts. Sounds like this. With like a huge mid scoop. Then I blasted that into the warm tape Saturn. Crunchy. I high passed the sides to keep the bass mono. And did some D-click because I really didn't want like the top end of those transients. I just want that woof. Driven +11, soft 3, and then -9 the output to bring the level back down. It has the compander going on. I think I remember reading that in the manual one time. It was like it brings back some of the dynamics from the original source, something like that. I forget. Filter freak, and some of that wow sort of flavor. I don't know. 100% would be like this. Very sweepy. It's kind of nice. Yeah, you can see all the settings if you want to copy it or whatever. It's just yeah, doing a little bit of extra drive as well, 6 dB on the output, on the input and output into the dirt setting. Makes it sound nice. And then one more transient layer here. Called it Smacko. This is just to give it a little pop. With the first Pro Q, we're doing similar thing. Bass boost, mid scoop, high presence. Pretty extreme. And then similar M transient thing, plus like 7 attack, minus sustain to accentuate the poppiness of it. Also a similar, I wonder if I just copied this. Yeah, that's like very clicky almost. Maybe a little bit too clicky. We'll get to that in a second. Low end resonance. This basement, all it's doing, I think, essentially, when it's set to that saturate setting, it'd be the equivalent of like, was this set to 102 hertz? It'd be like if you opened Saturn and set the crossover around there and like just drove the low end and didn't do anything to the high end. It's the equivalent of that, basically, that low end saturation. And then with Pro Q, this is what I was talking about. I took out some of the like very high frequency clickies above 7K. You don't need it. I wanted more like high mid transient than super high transient. It's kind of a trend. You'll see that more later on as well. But essentially, I want the explosion to feel big. And to make things feel big, a lot of times you have to take out high frequency detail, I find. Next layer, the Crungo, goes like this. Sounds like I collapsed that down to mono. Originally, that was this part of the source file. Just slowed down a bunch, then I put it through this like extreme overprocessing chain. I'm not gonna walk through it, I'll just play it for you. Cumulative effect of that is this like sort of very squashy long file I have here. It's like a little in-between step if you want to think of it that way. I consolidated it down to mono, kept only this bit, sped it up a little bit, and then cleaned it up a teeny tiny bit with this Pro Q. Reduced some below end. I think we have enough of that in the transients, and added some more presence. Some crispy details on the high end. This is also that same file. I slowed down 0.7, and then I just limited it, I guess, to bring up the level. Between the two of these, it adds like this nice, like bark to the sound, I think. This one definitely has a transient. It's doing like combined with the transient. I don't know. Let's just like listen to these combined. That's got that curve, the energy curve I'm talking about. And it's like, I feel like a bulk of the character is located between those layers in particular. It's like not just total blasted distortion, that comes later. But it has like some contour to it, which I really enjoy. Anyways, moving on to the tail, we have these layers here. We got some sparklies. Some like crackly sparklers, and then just like the actual sound ringing out. What you don't get from most of these layers, maybe a little bit here, is just like the sense of space and the excitation that you get from the sound. And we couldn't really create that with like just a reverb plugin alone. So bringing in some of those original parts of the recording, I think gives it a little bit more believability and places it in a location and gives it like some context and more of a natural decay. So those two combined sound like this. The crackles give it a nice little, they break up the smoothness of what the reflection sort of sound is alone. And then I low pass them. Took away some of the like 200 hertz boxiness. And then I use this to smooth out the dynamics a bit. So it's doing a touch of upwards compression, a touch of downwards compression, and taking out some of those transients because we got enough transients. This isn't serving that purpose. You can tell it just sounds a lot smoother with that. And then early reflections with Phoenix Verb. This is one of my favorite presets, The Bear Gets You. It's mostly early reflections. Isolated, 100% wet would be like this. Very wide. I only wanted like 34% of that, which honestly is a lot for reverbs. But I felt like it added some nice width, especially on like the head of it, and then let the rest of it ring out naturally. Yeah, I don't know, just feels good. All those layers combined thus far sound like this, which gives us a nice core of the sound. And I like moved on to the mastering phase after that. And then when I reopened the session months later when I was about to do this video, I was like, it's just missing something. And that something was this. Just like completely destroyed, absolutely crushed into oblivion, ripping saturation. It's like noise, and it honestly doesn't even matter what the source was, but it was the Firework. It sounded like this. Slowed down, and then I cranked it through Black Box, and then Saturn. Gotta love that plus 24 on the low end boost, high end frequency, low passing. Sorry, really emphasizing the boom. Yeah. And then I drove it even harder with Filter Freak. Now we're talking. Yeah, a lot of times I use Filter Freak like with the filter pretty far open just for the texture of this like dirt saturation. If they made that as like a standalone plugin, I would use that honestly more frequently than I use Filter Freak in all of its glory. I digress. So that sound was great and bold, and I only wanted everything below like 17 kilohertz. Sorry, 1.7 kilohertz. I just wanted that low crumbly rumbly, not the high shredding distortion. This is more to that point I was making earlier where it's like big things actually have less detail in the high end most of the time. So that combined sounds like this. Which is kind of cool. And I did my classic move of just like bringing it all together and really emphasizing things in the master. This is similar stuff I've done before, so I'm not going to like spend too much time on this, but I'll run through it pretty quick. We got Pro MB. Spectral flattening, doing just like subtle touch of compression and glue. Black box. Density's turned up there, that's key, and the mix is 32%. 100% would be here. God, that's dramatic. Distortion on the bus, the master bus is different than distortion on individual layers because it's summing it all and then distorting it. Critical key difference there. That's just like a touch of Pro C. Honestly, I think I was just running through the mastering presets and I stopped on one that I liked, and it was the last one, is Velvet Layer. Maybe the name convinced me to pick it. It is a cool name. Spectre. Giving us a little bit of sheen on top and some saturated low end, just a touch as well. Gullfoss, bringing it closer to like pink noise using dynamic EQing, I think is how it works. Vitalizer. Doing some bass compression and honestly just more distortion. I think it's like tube modeling or something like that. Unveil. Making it sound a little bit more hyped, bringing it a little bit closer. Some just a touch of like rebalancing EQ. There's quite a bit of mid-range buildup, so I want to carve some of that away and bring back a little bit of the bass. And then here I just took away the bass. You know, sometimes you just go with the flow. I just like play back a bunch of times. Oh, here's what it needs. I'll add a little bit of that. And in this case, it was reducing the bass by 3 there, 1 here, and again 1 here, and doing a little bit of drive on both bands, and crushing it one last time with Pro L. I'm just going to do a quick A/B with all the processing on and off to give you a little comparison there. And then back on. It's getting me in the neighborhood. If I was to work on this further, I think my notes would be like, it's got a little bit too much mid-range sort of punchy transient to it. That sticks out a little bit. And maybe some of the distortion is a little bit too much. It sounds like there's like a second reflection somewhere around here that pokes out, especially in the upper mid frequencies. And the tail is maybe kind of boring. But as far as like taking one recording and squeezing as much out of it as we can, I think it's a job well done. And it gives you an idea of how I might approach something like this. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for listening.